And here is our stick. We've got the red tape on what I'm calling the top end of the stick. We're going to be grabbing the stick in what I'm calling a 2/3 or 1/3 grip, meaning we have 2/3 of the stick about up top, up towards the tip. That is 1/3 on the bottom towards the handle. We're going to start off with some of the things we did in the prior presentations as a recap, and then add the new element, which will basically be a side-to-side element, which is my normal type of flow technique generally. So first off, we're thinking of grabbing it. We're opening our hand so I can basically have a nice loose grip up in here where the palm and the forefinger is, so we can rotate it this way, a little flip this way. That allows us to do the side-to-side motion, putting it under our arm. Notice the wrist is down here. We're going to grab it with our other hand right where that 3/4 grip is, and then pull it down. So now we're on this side. We're going to put it back on our shoulder, back on the shoulder here, then the little thumb roll, bringing it back under the arm, grabbing it with the other arm to bring it back the other way, 3/4 grip, pulling it down. We're then going to bring it back up to the shoulder, then do the thumb roll back under the arm, grabbing it on the 3/4 grip with the other hand, the left hand, pulling it back down, same motion. So this is basically the motion that we will have now, the new motion, except that we will roll it over the back of our hands instead of doing this thumb technique. So now this is also what we did in the prior presentations, or one prior presentation, and that is rolling it over the back of the hand. So we've got palm down on the right hand. We're going to roll the top over the back of the hand, and then when we go to the side-to-side motion, we're going to roll it over the back of our hand, which is a little bit more tricky because we have to actually let go of the stick rather than just loosening our hand in order to open it up to do that little thumb roll. So once you get used to it, however, it becomes quite natural to do. So we're going to be flipping it over the palm, back over the other way. Flip over the palm, back over the other way. So we're just focusing on the right hand, flipping it one way and then the other. Now it's the same technique, but we're doing it on the side of our body. That's where we're going to have to do it when we do the side-to-side type of motion, replacing the thumb roll thing with the over the back of the hand roll thing. So same grip. We're just going to roll it over the back. I'm reaching over across my body to push it back the other way. So now here's the side view. So that's what we saw in the prior presentation. So now this is the same thing, but instead of stopping it right about here, instead of catching it here with my other hand and pushing it back, I'm letting the back end roll all the way over past my head, not hitting my head, hopefully, and so that my arm will lock up, rotating back around my shoulder, right there. So we see that. We did that in the prior presentation. This is just another variant, basically fully extending on the way back up as far as we can go before we re-execute the other way. So that's going to be that. We can do the same thing with the other hand. So now we're just rolling it over the top of the left hand and back, over the top of the left hand and back. Then we'll do that on the side because that's where we're going to need to have it on the side-to-side motion. Here is the side view of that, just on the other side of the body. We can roll it all the way up to the shoulder. Same kind of thing on the other side of the body. Here is the side view of that, rolling it all the way up to the shoulder. So now we'll add these two components together. We're going to do that first thing that we had, but instead of doing the thumb roll, we're just going to do the over the back of the hand, which to me is my default kind of flow maneuver, going back and forth. Nice even maneuver on both sides of the body, feels good. So we're going to start here, roll it over the back of the hand, over the back of the hand, and then we're going to catch it with this hand as the tip is going back, like we did with the over the top of the hand roll. Once it goes back over, however, I'm going to catch it and put it under my shoulder like we did with that first move. So we're going to push it back over, and now I've caught it right here, and I'm just going to wrap it under my arm like we did with that first technique, and then grab it with the other arm, just like we did on that first technique with the thumb roll on the 3/4 grip with my left arm right here. So you can see 3/4 of the stick up here, 1/4 or 1/3, let's say 1/3, 3/3, not quarters, pulling it down. Now this is in the perfect position to do a nice little roll over the back of my hand, roll over the back of the hand, catch it with the other hand as that back end flows up, just to give it a little push back down the other way. Then we're going to catch it in basically a vertical motion, and then I'll keep my wrist going down here so I can flip it under my arm. Goes under the arm, then I pull my other arm over to pick it up in that 1/3, 1/3, 2/3 grip, let's say, pulling it down the other way, and then over the wrist again, tapping it with my other arm here to push it back down. Boom. Then it's in position to put under my arm like we did with that first motion, back down. So that's the flow. You can think of a few beats, maybe 3 beats as you roll over the wrist, catch it, back down, under the shoulder. Roll over the wrist, back down, under the shoulder. Roll the wrist, back down, under the shoulder, so on. So you can put a rhythm to it. Now, as you do this, you can really get your feet shuffling. You can stay stagnant going forward, or you can lift your feet up and do a lot more motions. As you lift your feet up, be careful of your knees. You will hit it with your knees, so you want to be more and more mindful of where your body is. Now I'm just pivoting with my legs and rotating all the way around, doing the same motion. This is just the same thing, but now I'm facing the wall so you can see the right side. Then I'm rotating the other way so you can see the left side, just the same thing. And so notice the little bit of footwork here so that you should be able to basically kind of walk around with this, right? You can kind of march around the house as you're going from side to side and shuffle around with it, which is kind of a fun thing to do. And so notice once we have that down, what we have now is a bunch of variants that we can put together in almost an infinite number of combinations, which I don't think together, or I don't typically put them together as a prefixed routine, but rather I just kind of flow with this normal flow, and then periodically when I get bored of that, I will switch to some other rhythm just as I'm listening to a book or watching TV or something like that, just to have something to do. So what we have now is the back and forth flow with the thumb roll. We've got the back and forth flow while putting it over the back of the hand. We have in front of our body, we have the going back and forth over the backs of our hands. And we have the flow on both the thumb and over the back of our hands as we rotate all the way up over our shoulder, which gives a little bit different of a rhythm. So any combination of those things will switch things up as we're basically doing our little whatever we're doing, right? So this is possibly an uninspiring kind of mixture, but I'll just mix it up a little here. See, right now I'm doing the thumb roll, and then there's a thumb roll, and now I'm doing over the normal to me, over the back of the hand, back and forth, the new thing that we've been doing this time. Here we are just going back and forth this time over the back of the hand, just switching from one to the other. We saw that in a prior presentation. Back to now I'm doing the thumb roll, like 3 rolls before I go again. We can do 3 rolls, 2 rolls before we go back and forth, just to mix up the rhythm. And so now we're on just one hand going back and forth, the other hand going back and forth instead of going from one hand to the other or under the shoulder. Now we're going all the way over the shoulder just to get a different rhythm on it. So it's all the same basic maneuvers. It's just like switching up the drum beat. Okay, it's time we've been doing this for a while. We'll just do a little bit of a switch of a rhythm. And I don't know what that was. I don't know what, okay, we're done. That was